to my first-person shooter tutorials. In this episode, we're going to go over the process of how to turn the gun you get with the first-person template, the single-shot semi-automatic, into a fully automatic weapon. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at today. And for this, you need to make sure you've completed the first part of the tutorial, which is episode 1, setting up. If you haven't done so, please go check it out now, because this follows on straight away from that. Okay. So in this part, we're going to go through the process of turning this into a machine gun. Okay. So previously, we created a gun parent, which looks something like this, and had a functional equal fire bullet, which fired a single bullet out of its gun. And we made that a child actor on our player character. Reason being is because then later on we can swap out the guns as we want, generate random loot, so generate randomised guns with randomised stats that do different things, and assign it to a character, make them pick them up and use them. Something similar to you would see in like games like Fortnite, Borderlands, Destiny, all those sort of games where you can find guns on the floor, pick them up, and they're all sort of randomised and have some random stats and details about them. Okay, so what to do is quite simple. All we have to do is create a child of our gun parent. So we did that already last time with the semi-automatic. This time we're going to right click on the gun parent and create another child class, gun underscore fully automatic, and open it up. So this is a child, meaning that it's inherited everything that was on that parent actor. So all the same functions exist, all the same variables exist, and you see the variables over here on the right hand side, and we can tweak and change this however we like, because it's a child. Okay, and because it's a child, it doesn't affect any other childs of the gun parent. So the way this works is we are going to call some functions, and that's going to be the start shooting function, event start shooting, and we also want to do the stop shooting function, event. And these are the two that are called by the first person character. So this is, because it's a child, this will call everything that's on the parent class if we choose to do so, which we want it to do. So, to do that, you have to right click on it and go add call to parent function. We did this last time, I'm just going to reiterate and repeat it every time. Hook that up, and again we'll stop shooting, add call to parent function. Like so. So now that's going to call the start shooting event of the parent, which is gun parent, which you can see on top right here, says gun parent. So this one will be a bit different because it can be a fully automatic weapon. So what we need to do is make it loop through the fire bullet function until we let go of the trigger. So the way we do that is with the timer by set timer by function name. And this node basically sets a timer, and we'll, after that time's expired, we'll trigger a function which we define here. So the function we want to type in here has to be fire bullet, and it has to be spelled exactly the same, capital letters and all. And we want object to be left alone, we don't need to change that, because we're referencing ourselves. The time node will be the fire rate. So right click and type get fire rate. And that's the variable we set up on the parent, that's why I don't see it down here. Okay, so hook that up to the time slot there. And if we want to change the fire rate, we can change it down here, the default value here, or we can do a set fire rate node. If we want it to be a bit more variable and dynamic, we can do so there too. Now, the last thing we need to do is tick the looping box because we want it to fire bullets in a loop. So keep firing bullets every so often. So every 0.15 seconds, which we define here the fire rate, we're going to fire a bullet, and it'll keep doing that on a loop. To stop this loop, we need to save this function to a variable, and then call that function and take the stop. So this return value, basically, we can use this to promote this to a variable, and name it. So I'm going to call it the gun timer. And that means that I've stored this looping node as a variable, and I can now call that variable on the stop shooting timer. And that means that I've stored this looping node as a variable, and I can now call that variable on the stop shooting to take the stop. So drag the gun timer out, choose get, and then from gun timer, you can then type in clear and invalidate. So drag the gun timer, I've stored this looping node as a variable, and I can now call that variable on the stop shooting to let it stop. So drag the gun timer out, choose get, and then from gun timer, you can then type in clear and invalidate timer by handle. Choose that one, and hook it up to the stop shooting. So to test this out, we need to go back to our first person character, and we need to go click on the child actor, gun, and the child actor class, we're going to change that to the gun fully automatic. and click compile. That's all we have to do. Now if I go back to the game and play it, I can click and hold and it'll fire bullets. So one thing we need to do in here, to make it that slightly bit better, is it's hard to say, hard to see for yourselves right here, right now, but if you're following along, you'll notice that if you click the mouse button, there's a slight delay before the first bullet comes out, which isn't realistic. So what we need to do is set it to actually fire the bullet, then set the timer. So we're going to go back to our gun, and between the start shooting and the set timer, we're going to call that fire bullet function. And now it's going to be fully responsive and shoot that first bullet, and the rest of them will come from the timer. Now, as for running out bullets and reloading functions, we're going to do that in a later video. In that case, we go back to the parent, we set it all up all on parent. That means it will re-inherit all that code we do. But that's for another video, another time. So that's it. This is simply just how you